gas exploration in the Black Sea, which the Turkish state and the President Erdogan announced as a miracle last August. Then came to another miracle news called EastMed, which we called it an ecological disaster. I would like to give you a short info about EastMed, a mega pipeline that would carry fossil gas from disputed waters of the Eastern Mediterranean, which is Cyprus, Israel, and potentially Palestine, to Italy. It would be one of Europe's longest pipelines and the deepest, they say. In September, over 60 organizations from Turkey, Greece, Cyprus came together to demand an end to extraction in the region and demand climate justice and peace. We are against the ongoing pipeline project, EastMed, and the fossil fuel exploration activities of all countries. We believe that climate disaster is real and undeniable. To keep global warming to a still dangerous 1.5 degrees Celsius, we need to reduce global carbon dioxide emissions by half by 2030 and to zero by 2050. The development of new reserves must be stopped immediately. We are united to prevent a crime attempted in Eastern Mediterranean. During our campaign, we saw our governments dispatched warfare brigades to the Mediterranean, or they sat at the negotiation tables. But one thing was clear, that their competition for control of oil and gas reserves in the Eastern Mediterranean remains a dangerous threat for peace and the environment in our region. If you look at StopEastMed.org website, which is prepared by Gastivist Network, and walk along the route of the proposed EastMed pipeline, you see how gas is fueling the conflicts, the climate change, militarization, and oppression in the eastern region. The Israeli government is one of the most enthusiastic proponents of the EastMed pipeline, as it would secure a European export market for Israeli gas reserves. The pipeline amplifies the ongoing injustice between Israel and Palestine by strengthening Israeli regime economically and politically. The EastMed continues from Israel to Cyprus, where important offshore gas reserves are located. The island is split into two zones with military borders, and EastMed being used to raise the conflict between two communities. The US is interfering with the geopolitical dynamics in the region, fossil fuel development, militarization, as it does all over the world. Greece is very enthusiastic, supporting the EastMed pipeline. Tensions rose in summer when Turkey sent a gas exploration vessel escorted by warships. The situation escalated and a Turkish warship collided with Greek warship. On the other hand, Italy is less vocal, but its economic interests talk for themselves. Eni, the largest Italian fossil corporation, has interests across the Eastern Mediterranean gas fields and is a key player in Cyprus. What about EU, European Union, which is providing significant political and financial support to the EastMed project? EastMed has received priority status by being included in the latest projects of common interest list, which means that pipeline can skip regulatory hurdles, receive financial support, and is considered top EU priority. The EastMed pipeline, EU huge and rapid push for a new fossil gas import terminals and pipelines. This push is, however, totally against with EU climate targets and climate movement's expectations. Gaztivist network, which is a part of our campaign also, call EU to drop its support for fossil gas in the East Mediterranean and build a fight around it. As Ozan said, we believe that our destinies are common as people living in the same geography, no border in nature, no exclusive economic zones. And we are losing species, destroy seafloors, warming airs, polluted water, heat waves, deforestation, forest fires. The soils now doesn't yield enough crops. And this requires an international struggle against these limitless ecocide projects. Until now, the economic resources obtained by producing fossil fuels has never been used for the common welfare of the people in any country, which we know. It always filled the pockets of a handful of capitalists. This is also the case for gas and oil in Mediterranean and Black Sea. Those who condemn us to unemployment, hunger, which puts us into deep democratic crisis, they carry out a war policy over gas and oil. That's why we make our call to all people to fight with us for peace and climate justice. Energy policies determined by profit, not human need, have resulted in both expensive energy for the people and the looming climate disaster. The contracts are on the basis of consumer pay means that even all the fossil fuel paid for is not being consumed. There's no rational need for more discovery. We need to take energy out of the hands of the profiteers and put it under the democratic control of the peoples of the region. We need local democratic control of the production and consumption of energy. And we need to stop the destruction of our local and regional environment for energy projects. We need to ensure energy justice with distribution according to social need for profit. We need to end private profiteering in energy by taking energy production and distribution back into democratically controlled public ownership. We are living in the age of the catastrophe of capitalism. We call it multifaceted crisis, intertwined with economic, political, ecological, and all sorts of human rights crises, such as refugees, women, LGBT plus rights. We celebrate your work for refugees and your defense of the international position of welcoming refugees. We know ruling blocs all around the world driving neoliberal agenda by using state oppression and racism, sexism, and assimilation of indigenous people. We are also ready to work with you for refugee rights and not let Greek and Turkish governments play with refugees' lives to keep the role of guarantor to the EU fortress. Pandemic deepened all the inequalities in our societies. Capitalism ignores the lives of millions and doesn't save the human race by providing free vaccination and public health service for all. Health workers are paying the price of health crisis, which we have special debts for all those workers who defended our rights to live during the pandemic crisis. Capitalism caused a metabolic rift within the relationship between human race and nature, which we need to repair urgently. According to science, this needs to be done latest in the coming 20 years. Climate crises are undeniable. We are at a turning point, and this radicalizes the issue of climate change significantly. Hoping the capitalist system tackles the issue of all these crises we face creates desperation and miserabilism. We believe that mass mobilizations are possible in this age of multifaceted crisis. We cannot separate the fight for climate justice, austerity programs, racism, sexism, and homophobia. We are trying to mobilize around COP26, United Nations Climate Change Conference, also known as COP26. It is scheduled to be held in Glasgow, November this year. We need to talk about the politics of COP together with Kazma Burak signatories. The response from the ruling classes is shaped by the fossil fuel economy. We will not be deceived by the greenwashing of ruling classes and fight for climate. We need to fight for climate justice. Climate movement coming together in COP26 coalition, anti-capitalist movements working together for 6th of November global action. A People's Summit will, with delegations from the world in Glasgow will be organized, and local and national mobilizations will be held. Let's stand up racism, warmongering, and capitalist ecological catastrophe all together from Turkey, Cyprus, Middle East, and Greece. And let's fight for unity in action, not in the graveyard of capitalism. Thank you very much for listening me.
We thank you so much, Çiğdem, for your wonderful contribution. A small parenthesis for especially people who are spending quite a bit of time in Mytilene. Kazma Burak, which roughly translates as do not dig. It's actually coming from the word kazma. Gazma, that's, I think it's a very familiar word for people in Mytilene, which is in slang to be used for villagers. So kazma, it's also in Turkish means the word digging, but also it means the tool that helps you dig. So the demand of this movement in a very wonderful twist of languages is not only demanding to stop digging, but it's also to stop the gazmades, which in a way maybe could be very relevant for what we're trying to achieve somehow in Mytilene from now on then. So with that small remark, I leave the space to Koray now to speak about Kanal Istanbul. Hello, Koray. Sorry, before I go on, if it's possible for speakers to slow down a little bit, because we are trying to do simultaneous translation for people who are not proficient, let's say, in English. So if you can slow down the pace of your speaking, that would be also wonderful. With that said, welcome, Koray. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, guys. I'm very happy to inviting me to this meeting. And also I'm very excited. This is my first time to meeting in English. At the beginning, I have to say sorry for my faults. My name is Koray. Again, hi from Istanbul. During 2 years, I'm struggle in a platform against the Roundtable project. Name is Kanal Istanbul. Now I want to start at the beginning why this canal planning, what are the purposes of build this canal. So Tayyip Erdogan announced 2 years ago to build this Roundtable project. Name is Kanal Istanbul. So Erdogan has three different reasons. He told the people 3 different reasons to build this project. The first reason is Bosphorus security. The second reason is to make a big profit from the ship transferring from between Marmara Sea and Black Sea. The third reason is the building a new city. This is the most important purposes of him to get the big profit. So let's talk about the 4 reasons. The first reason of him to make this, to build this project. He's saying the Bosphorus security. Okay, let's talk about Bosphorus security. Now we have to tell the Bosphorus, the largest width, the shortest width is 700 meters. the Bosphorus. I'm telling the Bosphorus width. The biggest width is 3.66 kilometer. So the ship need largest width area, right? To not get accident. But let's see canal, how many meter or kilometer width for crossing, for transferring to ship. Okay, let's say 275 meter, just only 275 meter. The width will be the canal of Istanbul. So how we can say the ships will be safety when the canal, if the canal built, how the ship can be safety in transferring between Marmara and Black Sea. It's not acceptable, because there's a one side Bosphorus, the smallest width is 700 meter. One side there is a 275 meter. So this is unacceptable. This unacceptable reason. Let's say the second reason of Erdogan to build this canal is he's saying we will get big money, we will get big profit when the canal built, the ships transferring between two sea. When they use the canal, we will get $100,000 per each ship if they transferring by canal. But there is international rules. There is international contracts between Turkey and several countries. No, any country cannot cancel to transferring Bosphorus of ships. And right now, the ships pay between $5,000 to $10,000 for transferring from Marmara to Black Sea, or from Black Sea to Marmara. So can you imagine one ship will pay $100,000 instead of $10,000? This is unbelievable. This is a big lie of Erdogan to save people, because no, he doesn't say right now the ship can pay 5,000 to 10,000 transferring from Black Sea to Marmara. He just say we will get $100,000, but this is lie. The third one, his reason is the new city. This is very important. For me, this is the most important point, reason of him to build this canal. I will talk about this, the reason of the struggle people, when I come, but not right now. This city population is now more than 18 million. So with 18 million people, Westis right now giving this Westis to Marmara Sea. The Marmara Sea cannot survive with 18 million population Westis. So how more 8 million people, if new city built, 7 or 8 million people increase on Istanbul population. That means nearly 25 million. Right now, 2.3 million cubic meters Westis leave to Marmara every day from Istanbul. But if the new city built, the population increase, and also this Westis count will increase around 3 million cubic meters per day for Marmara Sea. Marmara Sea already dead, cannot breathe. There's no breath, there's no oxygen. So how can you imagine how Marmara can survive? It's not possible. So this reason of him, Erdogan reason, is most dangerous for our sea. I cannot say, we don't say just Marmara, because if Marmara die, Black Sea will be die. If Black Sea and Marmara die, Ege will die and Mediterranean will die. So this is the very, we have to get this point. We have to get serious of this point. So let's come to why the people in here struggle against to this project, mega project, he says. We have several reasons. We don't have just one reason. We have several reasons to struggle against this canal project. Let's start from the first reason why we struggle. Istanbul has 2 drinkable water lakes, which are the names Sazlıdere and Terkos. These are the most important 2 lakes which provide drinkable water for public of Istanbul, for people of Istanbul. Everyone knows in the future, very near future, the people cannot find drinkable water. Maybe the war will start because the drinkable water, to reach the drinkable water. So this canal project on planning to build, destroy these 2 lakes. We will lose these 2 lakes if canal built. This is very important. So these 2 lakes now provide around 30% water needs of Istanbul. So if canal built, we will lose around 30% drinkable water, and population will increase. So we will need more drinkable water area, but we don't have. So we say our drinkable water area, lakes, more important than this project, this canal project. So second reason is very important. Forest massacre. If this canal project built, we will face forest massacre. Before airport buildings, as you know, Erdogan, close to Atatürk Airport, in the middle of the near the city, he built a huge airport. Around 20 million, he cut 20 million trees in north of Istanbul. So now we have very small part of north forest of Istanbul. If this canal project built, we will also lose small part of north forest. We will lose that part. The third reason is the farmland. We will lose farmlands. If this project built, around 136 million square meter farmland will be destroyed. That means 20,000 football land area, biggest. Can you imagine how big area we will lose farmland. Everyone knows, like water crisis, we have also food crisis. We have in the very near future, all the people of the world will face food crisis. So near the food crisis, how we can think to build this canal? We don't need the canal. We need food. We will need food. So from now we have to keep our farmland. So we are also against this canal project because of to protect our farmland. The fourth reason of our struggle, ecosystem will also damage with this canal project. Around 200 varieties of endemic plants right now. This area, the canal project planning area. If the canal built, we will lose 200 varieties of endemic plants. This is also very important point to struggle against the canal. The fifth reason of our struggle against the canal project, the Istanbul is waiting earthquake around 7 and 8 heating degree. As you know, as also Greece, people always alarm with earthquake. Our land near earthquake. This is the Istanbul is on fault line, but the land which planning to build canal, most dangerous line of earthquake. We say is the most dangerous fault line of earthquake. You know, this project cost around right now around $70 million. With $70 million in Istanbul, all buildings preparing against earthquake. Reconstruction. We have opportunity reconstruction for all buildings. That means if we spend this amount, the reconstruction of building against the earthquake right now, we will not lose one person. But Erdogan choose to spend this amount canal building. So we say Erdogan planning to build this canal without thinking the people die. It's not for him, the people, 1,000 people, million people dying in earthquake, he doesn't care. So he just wants to put the money for this rentable project. So we also struggle against this rentable project for our life. We don't want to die. So if we don't want to die, if you want to live, stand alive, so we have to struggle against this project. Sixth reason of our struggle against the canal project, all the world know for the canal project reason, the biggest reason is shorten way for ship between two seas. Let's say how many, for example, Panama Canal shorten the way of ship around 15,000 kilometers. Let's say how many kilometer shorten of Suez Canal? Around 9,500 kilometers. So Istanbul Canal also gives some opportunity for ship shorten the way. It must be, right? So there is also same question for this canal. So we ask how many meter or how many kilometer shorten by for ship if the ship transferring from canal. You know, 0 is not right answer. 0 kilometer shorten from the canal Istanbul is not right answer. You know, the right answer 15 kilometer extent. That means longest the way you have to spend 15 kilometer more than Bosphorus to reach Black Sea from Marmara or reach Marmara from Black Sea. This is funny, right? I think it's funny. And so Erdogan still didn't say anything about this point. So he doesn't has reason of this point to build this canal. So this canal is not for shorten the way. Another big problem is concrete. This canal is a concrete project. Istanbul has enough concrete buildings. We don't. Istanbul can. The people cannot breathe because there is no forest in the city. Everywhere concrete. We don't need any more concrete. So we are also struggle against this grantable project because this project is a concrete project. We don't need any more concrete. Last point is when I was telling Erdogan reasons, I talk about the third reason, the new project, new city. This point, this reason is very important. Why is it very important? Because near the Erdogan, very few people, they organized this project, under the closed door in the rooms. So they started to buy lands from this area before announced to in the media. So very few people get million square meter. Million square meter they bought per square meter $10. After they blocked all the lands, this project area, these are the people from the Qatar, these are the people from the Saudi Arabia, these are the people from the local, the richest people. They got huge around. Right now, per square meter, I'm telling, the cost is $2,000. This is 200 times rentable situation right now for the people. So we can say for Erdogan, building new city is more important than canal. He promoted all the world, especially Middle East. He promoted this project with canal, but he got the money from the land rentable. So we say this project is rentable project. This project is a few people making huge profit by rentable politics. So we are also against struggle against this project because very few people who are near Erdogan will make money, but all the people will lose many things. We don't have any profit. The people don't have profit in this project. People has lost, very few richest people has big profits. So all we are the people, public of Istanbul, public of Turkey, struggle against the Canal of Istanbul because we don't have any profit. So I'm also anything else more? Yeah, in the against this project, this rentable project in Istanbul, we are struggle. I'm the member of struggle platform. We are struggle against this project. We made many activities, meetings in many different places. So Erdogan is still continue telling lie about this project. We are also continue struggle against this project. We believe this project cannot build, and we will keep our land, we will keep our forest, we will keep our ecosystem, and we will keep our seas. If this is not our problem, responsibility. This is all world people responsibility. We say Canal Istanbul is the most important responsibility of the world people. So I can say last thing, let's struggle all together in everywhere, in Greece, in Belgium, in Egypt, in everywhere. We have to struggle against this rentable project. Thank you very much, guys.
We thank you, Koray, for your wonderful contribution. Of course, you have mentioned many important aspects through Kanal Istanbul, such as like intersectionality of movements, and also about earthquake. For those of you who are, let's say, dinosaurs, as I am, or many of us are here, would have remembered the potential that took place in terms of solidarity after the earthquake in '99, where between the two countries, even though the situation was quite dire between the states, the people took the courtesy to lean a hand to each other. So given the fact that Kanal Istanbul is also going to be very responsible for after effects of such a earthquake, would probably be something that we will delve into more. For those of you who might have got a bit lost in numbers or about specific names, please refer to the booklets that we have prepared, both in Greek and also in English. You can find much more information there, and also other groups such as Koray mentioned about the Northern Forest of Istanbul, a very local, very powerful movement called Northern Forest Defense have been linked inside your booklets. They have their website also in English. I'm not sure about the Greek part, but definitely in English. So for those of you who are more curious about getting more information, please do check the booklet that we've prepared for you. And again, thank you for your contribution, Koray. With that said, I'm going to leave the floor to Kerem to speak a bit about the Mount Ida, or in Turkey, Kaz Dağları struggle. Floor is yours, Kerem.
Thank you so much, Ozan. I'm I'm a bit late of this subject because this issue is lately came to me as a, to give you the
Don't worry, Kerem. We're very happy to have you. Whatever you
Okay.
can provide will be more than received and more than happily celebrated.
okay. So I'm not fully prepared, but I will give a full contribution to this. So I'll give you a screen. I will salute all the two sides of the Aegean Sea and the solidarity here is a very powerful and important for me. And so I would like to start share a screen. Can I share a screen here?
Yes, you can. You don't know how to do it?
Yes, host disabled. Yes, thank you. Here. We started here in protesting at the Canadian consulate as we are named after Mount Aydın Authority of Istanbul in Turkish, Kaz Dağlı İstanbul Dayanışması. We are a network created by people who came back from the resistance to Istanbul, made financial campaigns to make it possible the resistance to continue, also made announcements for resistance so that it can be heard. The action in front of the Canadian consulate is one of them. Here you can see. It is very important for us to be visible in Turkey, and so it was found as the Istanbul side of the resistance. Now, it's not only working for Mount Aydın resistance, also against all ecological destruction and struggle against bringing the rights of the people in their place. So what is happening in Mount Aydın? Sorry. The previous phase of the mountain is this and the other side here. The site of the destruction, a geography covering the Mount Aydın National Park, actual naming North Aegean region as it is interacting with underground waters and mountains. 79% of the old land here in Çanakkale is mine licensed, as you can see here. Some of these mines processing are in the license or project stage. Kirazlı was also one of them in that project phase here. Alamos Gold's Kirazlı project is the first project of Alamos in Turkey. There are 3 projects in total in very close proximity: Kirazlı, Mount Ağı, and Çamyurt. Çamyurt project has been cancelled. We made Alamos Gold cancel the Kirazlı project thanks to heavy support against it. After this, we think that they cannot realize the Mount Ağı project now. So the project are at 30 kilometers from the city center, which is the city's drinking water source at Atikhisar Dam. Here you can see. Was 14 kilometers away to the Kirazlı. There are also in very possible earthquake zone. On the side, the trees were first cut, and then you can see this. Sorry, the trees first cut. Then the live upper soil was dug. 347,815 approximately trees were cut. This is a lot amount. The resistance has also begun after this destruction became visible to the public in the press. So I see the notes. So sorry for the interruption. We moved. I can continue. Sorry. There's an earthquake zone where the mine is located. A lot of endemic plants are living there. Most of them were destroyed by this process. Part of the Çanakkale is a territory of drought. In terms of climate characteristics, 1/2 of the year will be in an arid phase. For example, Çanakkale's water used for drinking and agriculture is provided with a dam. It is seen that the creek streams are dry in the summer months. Even this is the case, the Krasny project was planned to use 3 tons of water for 1 gram of gold. This is a lot amount. You can see the water of the Mount Ida up to Ayvalık, all of Balıkesir feeds waters up to Gökçeada and Lesbos. You mentioned that. It is a Professor Dr. Kenan Kayaş comment on this issue. Mount Ida is the fountain of life in this region. The property of soil is rich for agriculture due to the effect of these mountains. But these agricultural areas are also under mining threat. For digging gold, the Balaban Hill, which will live on its outskirts, I will show you later, which rocks will be then processed with cyanide. The remains will be sent to the waste pool and they will be too poisonous to remain there. How long, we didn't even know. We resisted there with too many occurrences, as some of us came back to Istanbul and then again to Kirazlı. How the resistance began, I would like to explain in detail. In the summer of 2019, the images coming from the mining area made public by the press. A resistance movement has been announced and supporting calls have been made. Municipality representatives were making this call because the mine is threatening the drinking water source. Hundreds of thousands of people went to the mining area. They are participated there and didn't return. The resistance located in an empty space next to the mining area. Although they are entered into the mining area, they were removed by the fact they are called off the event because nothing bad happens after that. They are officially removed later by the officials.
Kerem, may I make a small intervention here? Is it possible maybe you can direct your microphone a little bit away from your face, because I think we're hearing the piece too heavy and having a hard time to hear you clearly.
This is my microphone, so you can clearly hear me now.
All right, now it's much better. Now it's much better. Thank you.
Okay, then. So, where am I? Sorry. The remaining resistance took 425 days. As I said, there were some friends there, which remained there, who remained there. Some of us we went there time by time. Oops. This is those pictures tell you a lot. The small guys here, and the tents were made, and the friendliness you can see even in the snow. The latest improvements you can see with drone images here. Then approximately in 2020, are these pictures till the pandemic. So and some days were in the pandemic conditions, and we were punished by this kind of law, not living in sorry, oops. Screen sharing has been, oh, sorry, pardon me.
If you demand a screen share, I will allow it again. Don't worry.
Okay.
It's shared again. Don't worry.
Okay. But sorry. I cannot. Sorry for the delay. I put this under good shape. Sorry.
Kerem, just to take some pressure off you, Kerem has joined us almost like 3 hours before. So we are aware of that. So do not have the pressure. As long as you give us an insight, and also thank you for wonderful pictures also from the winter time and also from the camping. We've added a lot of things also in the booklet, so feel free to go on by yourself. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Again, I will start. I will continue. We were fined with pandemic rules. There are approximately 100 people. They are fined. We gathered money with a campaign and gave those people approximately the latter state of the fine, but this is not a good part, but we detained 2 times in Çanakkale and 1 time in Istanbul. Oops, again. Sorry.
It's okay, Kerem. It's a learning process for all of us. We are also not very familiar with these type of processes, so we're more keen to meet face to face. So I don't know how I can take more pressure of you, but please think
okay,
that you're among friends, basically.
Okay. I'll stay here. So, the latest improvements there are, we take this issue to the court as the pandemic caused also by these mining processes. So Alamos is also responsible for a lot of this. Since October 2019, the company can't do anything in the field, but they resist in staying there. But lately, the permit is also lifted, and the company had to leave the tools and already left the area. The states turn to say that the area has started the rehabilitation process, but we do not see a step towards this. We say that the initiation of rehabilitation is urgently scientific and transparent and participatory, should be operated in a process. We will make a campaign related to rehab in September. But the threat in the destruction of the area is not finished. It continues to destroy Mount Ida. Also, other projects continue remain there as a continue. Thermal power plants are also building there. Our challenge is still there for us. Thank you so much. That is a one-day effort. approximately 2 or 3 hours, maybe.
Kerem, filled in a very important gap, and believe me, we are aware of it, that you have to prepare yourself in the last 2 hours due to some complications, let's say, that we have. So thank you with this very little amount of time given to you in a very hot day in Istanbul, that you spend your time with us. We're very
you.
thankful. A small reminder to those of us here, Alamos Gold, the company who's actually digging out the Mount Ida region, is one of also the interested companies in Skouries gold mining in Halkidiki region. Eldorado is the main undertaker in that place, but Alamos Gold, which is a Canadian company, is also one of the main beneficiaries of the program. And in a very strange way, although in capitalistic rules, these two mining companies should compete with each other, in our geography, they're contrary to what the economic theory suggests. They're actually cooperating really well due to the resistance that they face often. So they often end up monetarily supporting each other in order to keep continuing the struggle for their mining projects again and again. Another option another example to be given, Eldorado not only has Skouries area for their diggings, but also in Turkey, in the northeastern part of Turkey, in the Pontus region, in Fatsa, they also have undertaken a gold mine, again with the same process, cyanide, gold mining, mountainous area, and so on. So in a strange way, in this limited geography, these two competing companies are actually supporting each other, not only on company level, but also through states. So this is also a very important fact, that how the struggle in two separate countries are actually have a unified cause, knowingly or without knowingly, with each other. So thank you for underlining that, Kerem.
It
Before
was a pleasure for me.
believe me, for us too. Before we continue, now that we're reaching almost 10, I would remind you again, the program that we had in mind would have continued with a bit more in-depth questions, which will be coming from moderation, which is this desk. Would you prefer to have a small break first, then we skip the moderation maybe and go to a forum, or we do the moderation and then we do a small break? How is everybody doing? In order not to bother you to give an example, I will take silence as like we are okay. We can go with a couple of questions before the break. We have cold beer as well for those of you who might lost their interest. All right. So if there's no objection to it, I would like to thank all of you for your presentations. I have prepared a couple of questions maybe that not only you three, but also the contributors who are today with us can have. I'm not sure how we can moderate both the Zoom part and the physical part here, but I was thinking maybe if people would like to have contributions currently, they can write things into the chat and we will try to compile them here as the moderation. But like the first thing that I would like to address, and I leave the floor to either one of you, the three, to speak in terms of intersectionality, which directly or indirectly, almost all of you have mentioned of, how ecological devastation and an environmental movement also has an aspect of feminism in it, or how a mega project like Kanal Istanbul is a direct relevance through gentrification or other means related with poverty. Coming from Lesbos to you, the main question that we're trying to tackle is, these things are happening in Turkey, why should I care? And in order to tackle that I wonder what you guys would think, how this intersectionality of different movements that you have mentioned can also coincide with us being in Lesbos. What can we not do anything to support you? What can we do together collectively with this intersectionalist perspective? So leaving the floor partially to you, whoever wants to take a step will be more than glad. I have a bit more in-depth questions maybe about the projects themselves as well. Again, a small reminder for those of you who would like to get more in-depth information, booklets are at the table over there, and we're probably going to upload them on Binyo's blog. So even if you missed this one, both in Greek and English, you can find them online. So leaving the floor to you guys.
I'm a bit tired and will remain the other guests. So please take a step forward.
The other comrades who are on Zoom can speak also about these questions. That's why I'm not jumping in. Is there anyone from Greece? Ece? Wahab? I can translate you if you want.
Wahab, I can also translate.
Sultan? Anyone?
Vahap Sultan, eklemek istediğiniz olursa herhangi bir konuda biz çeviriye hazırız.
Çok teşekkürler. Ben dinliyorum şu anda.
Maybe I can
Okay.
go ahead, Çiğdem.
Now, what we are doing in Turkey and how that say.
Benim seste sıkıntı var, ondan dolayı daha bir de ses gelmiyordu. Tekrardan şey
Ha.
yaptım. Ekleyecek bir şey yok. Arkadaşların emeğine sağlık.
Çok sağ ol. Okay, now in Turkey, what we have been doing in the recent past is, on the one hand, we are going to protest against the Kanal Istanbul, trying to raise the awareness and stop the government. On the other hand, we are fighting against the president getting out of the Istanbul Convention, which saves women and LGBT people, young girls from the violence, and gives responsibility to state. And we are in a struggle on lots of fronts. One, I always carry my mask, which says Istanbul Convention is ours. Because of the pandemic, we should use our masks and do all sorts of activities around this sexist attack from the government. And there are so many ecological destructionist projects. We have been in Saros. You might translate it into Greek language. The area is they are trying to do it liman for gas coming from outside. So they are trying to break down the Saros, which is a beautiful eco site. We really, if you look at all these fights, you can see that it is limited on one subject, but the people on the demonstration, either students or women or working class people, when you talk to them, you need to talk about everything. And one thing is always against racism also, because our government uses race cards, especially attacking the HDP, accusing for all sorts of things. We are losing comrades due to attacks by the state gangs. So really trying to divide the issues from each other is impossible if you are an activist. But to solve all problems, you need to overcome the sectionalist ideas, which more reformist ideas, that you can solve this problem, ecological problem, in one area by accommodating the government's ideas not to be much political and things like that. It is getting less. There is not much hegemony now, as in the past in ecological movements. The sectionalism was so rooted, but due to the crisis on many fronts, we are growing out of it. It's much easier to discuss why we need to defend the democracy, why we should be together with HDP against attacks, why we should be a part of democratic alignment, and all these different sectional fights, and the activists should come together. We set up a democracy conference. We celebrated all different sections coming together, and we are trying to localize that. But localization is not enough in this period. Internationalization is another part, which gives hope to people. Cosmobrak's strength is the international bonds which gave us between Greece, Cyprus, and now with Midilli, Lesvos, we are learning it. So I feel that even this meeting created so much enthusiasm, and I know the people who live in Kaz Dağları is so hopeful having meeting with you because of sharing the water, the same water, gives the people a communal feature and the hope for the fight together, really. So I am gonna stop here. Mute me, please. There is no one here to mute me. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Çiğdem,
Thanks.
thank you for your contribution. And on the contrary, maybe it's better that we never mute you. Maybe from where you left off, a counter addition / a question could be, since most of the people are looking at these struggles in terms of what's happening in Turkey and Turkey only, what we see often these days is like continuous struggles in Turkey against all odds, in quotations, such as the feminist movement, the Kurdish movement, and LGBTI movement, and very recently, with yesterday, the Boğaziçi resistance. Kind of shows us that even in dire conditions, what wins is the sustainability and continuity and maybe in the same intensity that these movements have carried. Given that, and we being in Lesbos, how can we bridge what's happening in Turkey with here? Because although we say things are happening in Turkey, they're bounding here directly as well. How can we create such continuity? And I drop the mic here in terms of maybe we can make a hard cut to the forum directly. It was a, let's say, a small open-ended question, both to our guests on Zoom and also people who are currently in Binyo right now. How can we create a sustainable and actually a movement that's based on dialogue, learning from each other, but at the same time acting together? So maybe this could be a small entry to our forum part, given also the time is 10 p.m. now. So we can slowly switch to questions or additions, comments, suggestions, and so on. And again, please, people in Zoom, do not hesitate to partake. I will switch to Turkish very briefly to inform people who cannot speak English. Zoom'da olan arkadaşlar ve katkı yapmak isteyenler lütfen çekinmeyin. Doğrudan konuşmak istemiyorsanız, ki isterseniz doğrudan çeviri yapabiliriz. Yazabilirsiniz. Yazdıklarınızı biz soru olarak veya katkı olarak buraya sunabiliriz. Öyle diyeyim ve bırakayım. Of course, it's also a possibility that we can just close it now and move on. So don't feel the obligation as if we have to speak.
Before we close on, I will say something else, but before we close, not now.
You want to give it a chance now, Chidam, just in case?
Okay, all right. What I am trying to, in terms of the future work, what we can do together is one, I know you are more concentrated on refugee issues, but we need to have more joint work about this with Turkey. We want to hear from what's going on there and your fight against all this crazy developments in refugee issues. So the other thing is this climate justice issue creates a general transition program in lots of countries, in Iceland locally and regionally, nationally, internationally. We need to be a part of a big movement. We need to think about how to develop our local concerns in the climate movement and how to put some targets, how we can mobilize on 6th of November. Before that, there will be global days of actions, which we did it on 19th, and before in September with Greek comrades and Cypriot comrades, which we, if you could be a part of that sort of global actions with Kazmabrak, if you think about it after this meeting, or you have a chat with each other, that creates a bridge between us. I know it's summer and it's hot, but you will come together in the open air. and have a drink together, I think, and chat about these issues. That's it, my proposals.
This was not at all a closing argument, Chidam. On the contrary, it was a wonderful invitation. As we spoke before, that we also wish that, independent from the situation of the borders right now, that we wish that this event could have taken place physically. But unfortunately, circumstances does not allow us. And I'm sure it would be on a different environment. But then again, it is indeed a proposal that you make in terms of Kazmabrak being a international or given a transnational proposal for a campaign. A small reminder to those of you who are watching us on Zoom is that Binyo is hosting the event and will definitely have in its agenda to partake in Kazmabrak, but in which terms, this I think we will discuss. Could have been as Binyo, could have been as a team within Binyo, but I have no doubt that eventually this was an attempt of bridging these respective movements, and we will definitely collaborate sooner or later. And even if we don't, I think long before we can, the environment will reach to us in terms of, oh, I cannot drink my tap water now. So it's a matter of inevitability in a way. That said, for those of you who have any questions regarding the struggles, anything that bothers you, anything that is burning, go ahead. Now, with the question part, we're going to get a bit tricky. I saw your hand, Lorraine. Is it possible that I can ask you to move in front of that computer, that one underneath the projection?
Or
And
you can also come here if you want.
if
Ozan, I would
Yes.
like to say something.
go ahead, Haluk.
Yes. I was a resident in Istanbul for many years. For about 2 years, I am in Edremit, Kaz Dağları, Ida Mountain, and I have visited Lesbos 2 times in those past 2 years. It was before the pandemic, and I would like to travel when it is possible because of the closed boundaries. I would like to visit also the 3rd time Lesbos, and I would like to be with our comrades from Lesbos. So I would like to, and we can all discuss some details about all the subjects that we share that are our common problems. So I would like to say this only, and if it is suitable for you, I can write on chat my phone GSM phone number, and if you also give any, if it is suitable for any comrades from Lesbos, from Greece, if they share their communication, their phone number, let's say, when I will be able to travel to Lesbos, I can call. This is that's all, and I just appreciate all this internationalist gathering of 2 comrade and 2 brother people. Thank you.
Thank you, Haluk. Definitely, we will run down for those of us who are interested here to share a list of information and contacts to be in touch somehow, and it will be shared also with you. We have already created an informal WhatsApp group with people in Turkey, but it's kind of informal now, and we will definitely carry it on a level of much more ground than on a formal level. So yes, definitely. And as the time arrives at the end of our event, for sure, we will be exchanging contacts and creating some sort of a communication network. Given that, Lorraine, if you want to take the stage, you also don't have to move. I can just repeat your question. Well, we got a bit, the question was, I got a bit confused about the programming. Well, your confusion is equally shared in terms of timing and last minute changes. If you have a question now, also we can go for a break if you guys want to, but I believe given the time, maybe we can just go on. And also at least this is how I'm reading. If I'm wrong, please intervene. Okay, I can see some raised hands as well. The only thing is that to save time, yes, to save time, if you have a question for people there, it would be very nice of you if you go in front of that computer, unmute it on Zoom and then ask. But I think previously Lorraine has a question, just programmatically. You wanna, I'm unmuting myself on this computer. If you unmute yourself over there, this is getting very tricky now.
Probably 2 or more.
Sorry, we couldn't work it.
Yes.
Now it's done.
Hello. Yes, just I had a few questions, but also with the aim of thinking into the future and how we can support from here. And also just a comment that, of course, not only are we affected by what happens in Turkey in terms of the environment, but also we contributed to what's happening in Turkey. And so one thing that I know of that I've been thinking about is in terms of the garbage waste, the recycling waste that is sent from the European Union to Turkey, which has happened especially the last 5 years since China stopped accepting plastic waste, specifically from most places in the world. And this is, of course, contributing to then the effects that we see in the Marmara and now spreading into the Aegean. But it's very difficult to find information about what is happening with this waste to actually, to be able to do something here. It would be good to know more specific information. What is happening with this waste? Where is it going, so that we can try to do something from here in terms of letting people know what's happening with waste that's coming from the EU to Turkey. That was the first question. And the second, with regards to the Canadian mining companies, I know there has been success in the last years in Canadian courts for human rights abuses, specifically by Canadian mining companies in other parts of the world, in Latin America and also in Eritrea. And I don't know if you've already been in contact with or you're collaborating with groups in Canada that are trying to hold Canadian mining companies accountable there. And myself, having worked on investigation and trying to hold mining companies, extractive industries accountable in South America, Colombia and Peru specifically, it's something that I would be very interested in trying to support, making connections, support doing whatever kind of investigation or legal accountability in terms of trying to put pressure on the Canadian mining companies specifically. And thank you all for being there. I'm very happy to be having these conversations as well.
So who starts here? I can
Kerem
only
top sende. Hı hı.
okay. I can only add my knowledge about following news about plastic pollution coming here, but the last step or last stop is not known exactly where this plastic pollution is going or went, what happened there. Some news say they burned somewhere, not officially or according to legal procedures. So it is a big problem here because of the government, because the government don't give us any information about this issue. So about Mount Ida, concerning the Canadian groups, they contacted somewhere in 2019, but after that we got lost about with the agenda in Turkey and didn't focus on the on contacting remote resistance or groups. So we want to make sure making these contacts permanent in the future. Does this sufficient, or I can get questions also?
I think someone else will be speaking. Open the mic.
Okay, so we're gonna move to the next question.
Okay.
Is two questions. The first is about Aeolian Park. If we have a movement, social movement about Aeolian Park. The first is about Aeolian Park. Because in the island of Aegean, we have many movement, social movement against Aeolian parks. I don't know what is the situation in Turkey. And the second is about the possibility of organize something in the university in collaboration with many people in the after October. I don't know if it's possible, but because the COVID situation, but if it's possible, we can prepare this. And another question is about the Zapatista movement field trip in Europe. In this time, I participate in Vamos Lesbos and in a big organization of in Europe for the field trip of Zapatista movement. And we prepare the visit in Lesbos in September. If it's possible, prepare something, one event about this problematic, yes, in this period with all us. This is an idea, but I don't know. It's only an idea for my. It's not a big group, but the interesting is in interior of all this organization of Zapatista field trip, we have many groups against meaning again Aeolian Park, all this, and intersectional struggles. And in this time we have a big meeting in the in ZAD in France. In the yes, if you you need information, we can send. I don't speak English. I speak only Spanish and French and Greek.
I love it. Only. Not Turkish then. Could you let us tell us more about this oiling park? Somebody could give us some information about what you have been doing about park. Do you hear me?
Open.
Ναι.
It's not a olive park. Eolion is the Greek word for wind turbines. That there is a movement, ecological movement here about wind turbines. So it was more about, we already have an ecological movement here against
We
wind
used to
turbines.
have.
We used to have. So it was on the basis of that. Just to clarify, it was basically an invitation for all of you around October. If we can do a similar event, maybe a bigger one, maybe if COVID regulations will allow, physically, to invite you to the University of Aegean, which is the university here that exists, that maybe we can further progress this conversation that we are having as like a midterm plan, let's say. Would that be somehow possible? I mean, possibility is a question. Interest, I'm sure that will be, but yeah, again.
Possible, yes. We can come when Zapatista comes. We can take them to Turkey from your island to Turkey.
How is the pandemic going in Greece? So it is going well or expecting another wave?
Can I say something? I am in Corfu. We are on the other end, northwest of Greece. There is a problem. There is a problem. And we think that our government said it's okay, no masks in the open air and all these things, just because the big tour agents and the big air companies press them to, and they want us to accept tourism because they want to make money. And in Corfu, we have a hotel of capacity of 88. It can take 88 people. It is a special hotel for COVID carriers. And now it is full with tourists having COVID. And our mayor is thinking of having a second hotel. So despite the fact that in our islands, most of the people have been vaccinated, still there is a big problem. And I have the feeling, we all have the feeling here, that it is not a real situation. The icon that things are going better is not real, because in Greece there are about 3,000 people who have problem with COVID every day, these last days. And in Corfu, we have more and more. In Corfu, we had 30. Last year, this time, we had 3 or 4 people. Now we have 30. So I'm afraid that in September, October, they will tell us again that to stay at home and not go anywhere. And just they want to satisfy the big companies, capitalism again. I'm sorry if my news is not good, but this is what we see here. I don't know in Mytilene what you are doing. Thank you.
Έλα, ναι.
To support what Vera is saying, yes, although we're on the, let's say in Greece, geographical terms, we're on the other side of the Greece. The situation affects us almost similarly, but also in a very different way. Maybe it's a topic for another day. But then again, we have a small briefing that we want to give to you about some new events that came up very recently, and Hristina will take over now.
Some old events. So hello from me as well. Like just to follow up what is happening with ecological movements, especially in Lesbos. Because in Greece, I think it's a different topic. I think by now in Greece, there are several issues that they are raised, consider the wind turbines, parks, and etc. to many regions in Greece. But specifically in Lesbos, we are for so many years now disconnected of this issue. And just to follow up, like the last ecological, not exactly movement, but it was a kind of mobilization in an ecological base. It was when they were thinking to have a huge investment about wind turbines into a very large space in the island, basically the west part, with an investment with the name of the company Roka, that supposedly will be connected also with Turkey for the production of electric energy via wind turbines. This project was cancelled, but because basically it was cancelled from the company itself because it was very expensive and the company expected the money from the states for the investment. So it was cancelled, not permanently, temporary. And there is always a question mark if it will start again with the project of connection Greece and Turkey and mainland Greece, etc. But let's say the last mobilization in the island about this, it was on this topic. I don't know if you are aware about these investments, like Roka investment, but surely we should keep an eye on this because again, in the island, there are some rumors that it will start again. And following what's happened to the rest of Greece and like to other islands that basically they want to turn them, islands and mountains as well, they want to turn them into huge industry of green energy, so-called green energy. Somehow we should keep an eye on this. And that's it from me.
I have a question, but not further digging in this topic. But what could be the prospects of working together or enlarging the circle of solidarity, and how?
Maybe I will make a small addition before. If I would be very happy to hear from anyone here on that terms. But when we check back the dates, apparently in 2008 there was a demo that took place in Lesbos against the Mount Ida gold mining. It was like a very early stages where Mount Ida was opened up for gold mining, apparently in 2008. The semi-sad part of that story is that when we try to dig out who, because apparently the let's say the article of a newspaper was suggesting that the mayor of the town was involved, there were a lot of people and so on. Given the current mayor that we have in Lesbos and the current feeling of the island, it makes it very hard to believe that such an event actually ever existed. But then again, roughly 15 years ago, there were people here who were interested in this. In the same terms, about Mount Ida is the freshwater source of our town, so we have a word to say in it. So yes, this might be maybe a small gap that took place in the last 15 years, that this knowledge has somehow been lost. And Kerem, partially, but not fully, to cover up your question, this is our attempt to reestablish that gap, because no matter how many attempts that we try to find out, it was almost even impossible to find out the name of the mayor back then, as if it was like a small fairy tale. But nevertheless, so this was, I personally want to believe, and I hope that I'm not alone in this, that this was an attempt to make that bridge again, that actual existing solidarity 15 years ago is still somehow around. And I'm already getting like some fingers, so I'm going to leave the space very briefly to someone. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi again. I wanted to add something more to your question. Like, what are our chances somehow to doing something together? And I think, like, for example, what Ozan mentioned, like this movement, and although I was in the island back in time, I don't remember this at all. It's lost somewhere. I think the goal is, there are two. The first one is to raise attention to ecological issues, which is basically life issues. Like it's matter of survival somehow. As matter of survival, there are several other things that we neglected or not, but in any ways, they are matter of survival. And the second one is that also we have somehow to break this narrative, basically the nationalistic narrative, that all are bad things that happen in Lesbos, in Greece, in Turkey, most possibly. They are coming for the foreign people. Either the foreign people, they are migrants, or the foreign people, they are Turkey and the bad Erdogan, and basically whole Turkey is occupied by Erdoganism somehow, which is not true. So in this perspective, I think there is a bigger struggle that it's going on, which is against the national narrative, against the national identities, if you prefer. And this, it should be a continuous struggle. And the only way that I can possibly think about it is to put the spotlight, put the light to the struggles that they are against, to Erdogan, against Mitsotakis, against any government that is trying to somehow make huge profits in our lives and demeaning our lives every day longer. So for me, there are two things interconnected, but I cannot separate them, basically. For me, like a campaign, what happened into Ida Mountain alone, what happened to the bad Turkey, or what happened to the bad Greece, or whatever, it's meaningless, as if it's alone and like this. Like the meaning is coming for challenging the nationalism, challenging the borders in every steps. Also challenging the borders with the pushbacks that they are taking place, for example, in Greece against and risk and they maybe kill migrant lives. And this is something that happened to our sea, because it is our sea. And it's happened like to both of us. Like, we don't want the fucking Aegean to be a cemetery. No, we don't want this. And it's our Aegean. It's nobody else. So I guess this is what I want to somehow contribute in this way. And also I wanted to say that we are very happy, and I am very happy to hear you all, to see you all, to listen about the feminist and the LGBTQ movement in Istanbul or elsewhere, to feel connected, to feel not alone, and also to start to think in more with more intersectionality also within our movements, within our people, within our communities. And I guess this is a very fruitful way of doing it. So thank you.
Ozan, chat'e bir şey yazdım. Onu okuman mümkün mü? Hı.
Evet, mümkün Haluk. Yes, indeed. And in our previous chats, when we had this first talk, we had this discussion before. I will send it to you personally as well. Don't worry, and we will also add you to the upcoming communication group. But I don't want Christina's question or like proposal, let's say, to go into vain. But don't worry, I will send it to you.
Teşekkürler. Thank you.
Another quick question, but related especially to me. I removed myself from WhatsApp, so will this group in WhatsApp?
You're absolutely right. It was you can call it like an alarm response. The proper communication, let's say, we carry often to different platforms, and we shall. So noted to self and to all of us, Kerem.
Didn't understand really. To alarm what? Do you mean that WhatsApp is not good way of communicating? I don't understand. It's confusing to share the information about this WhatsApp, Signal, your Telegram. Do you mean that? What do you mean, Kerem?
This is a complicated issue, so I would not put this issue on right.
Yeah. All right.
On the table, but
I don't think Telegram is better than
no.
Telegram
I
is
would
better
not
than
say
WhatsApp.
that. No, I would not say that. The interconnection should continue regardless of the platforms.
Yes. Okay, that's true.
If it's
We
a
managed to
email
get
or anything else,
Yeah.
simpler things, simpler platforms.
Okay.
They may continue in a way, or should continue in a way.
Yeah. We managed to get you from the Telegram to this activity.
Believe me, noted and noted well, Kerem. Don't you worry that we know that you were joining us with all kindness in the last hours, but it was our, let's say, lack of understanding that you're not a WhatsApp user. So it was our fault to think that you're unreachable while you're like completely reachable. So it took us a while. I think it goes back and forth, and it's like a good learning process for all of us in terms of communication as well, in terms of finding the right platform too.
Okay, is that enough? It's so hot here. I am stuck by chair. You are sitting in the garden and drinking.
I wish that I can really support your claim on this. There was just a brief crisis that we had because a cockroach was flying in front of the screen, and the amount of mayhem that it caused is nothing relevant with the heat that people might be having here. Almost, I think we lost half of the people because of a couple of flying cockroaches. So, you know, let's say every geography has their own has their own problems.
I remember during this Zoom meeting, one of my friends who was moderating the meeting, some sort of accident happened. But I believe that ecological people are ready to be punished also by the. Anyway,
Çiğdem,
I can't.
I want to tell you that already people are raising their voice against you on terms of like, yes, ecology, but less cockroaches if possible. With all this joy, it just gives me the impression that how much we need a table rather than this type of a visual platform. But at the same time, anyone else want to add anything, any questions that we can follow with? Otherwise, I think in order to avoid one more locust mayhem and also to save the expense of our friends in Turkey from the heat, we can maybe slowly finalize this wonderful attempt of a meeting.
Another question, will there be a second one or a continuous meeting schedule or like that?
I think you already have an invitation for October.
Okay.
And in between October, surely, and the October invitation came on a university level. So I urge you, Kerem, to rethink the step that you have taken over.
Okay.
But yes, all jokes aside, definitely this was our intent to not to make it in the first place as well, to mention that this is not going to be a standalone meeting. At least this is what we hope for. Let's see how things will go, definitely. But I think quite amount of people here who partake tonight with us share the same feelings. Numbers might be deceiving, given the scale of the island as well. But definitely there's quite a lot of people who would be more than glad to keep this 15 years of lost connection back again on the sake of Mount Ida, because in between, for those of you who might have remembered, Roka Festival in Izmir, in Dikili, and in Selçuk regions have got direct participation from Lesbos Island back in the years. So it was also like in an indirect attempt of ours to rejuvenate that connection, because allow my ignorance if I take a step too forward, but when we speak about Lesbos, connection with Greece sometimes could be more disruptive than the connection with Turkey, because given the geography allows, mainland, it's not exactly Greece, but it's often Asia Minor. So this was our attempt, and this is how we also prepared the booklets, an attempt of a meeting, not exactly a meeting, an attempt. And we all hope, and I'm hoping that a lot of people share the same feeling with me here, that this attempt to turn into a proper meeting and hopefully a physical one.
I hope I will be there.
I hope also.
Guys,
Thank
I
you
have
very
to
much.
leave. Thank you very much for inviting for us.
Koray, we lost you, other than the part that thank you for inviting us. I'm not sure how much else we can hear from you, but we are also very thankful that you guys partake.
We all invited each other, I think.
I think so.
Okay.
Now it's a matter of the borders and the matter of
All right.
Thank you so much.
oh,
I would like to thank you too. I was very happy joining this meeting. Thank you very much to those of you who took the initiative and organized all of it. And we all really want to have a physical meeting. Let's hope so. I don't know. I have some reservations, but anyway, I wish that once we can meet from close.
Yep. True. Keep safe and healthy. everyone. Thank you very much, Ozan, for all your work. It was hard work. I know.
It was a whole work of the crew in Binyo. So I take your
Thank you.
appreciation on behalf of the whole Binyo crew, because believe me, it was a tackling road,
Okay.
living all the impossibilities. I will share you the gossip of the events later on in a private chat.
Yes, please.
But at the same time, thank you for all of you to partake here and given the patience to listen as long as it is on a Friday, and at the same time to give the possibility for some people, but in the delegation of some people to a lot of people, the solidarity that we want to partake in. I'm sure the symbolic meaning of it is going to go beyond what we imagine. At least this is what I hope for.
Right.
So we thank you all. The only thing that I'm upset for is that we couldn't show you the banner that we prepared, but at least we can send you the pictures of it.
Take pictures, yeah.
We will
Later
wait
on.
for it.
And also in Turkish, I would like to thank, if you will give me a brief moment, Heval Vahap, yani geldiniz, ayağınıza sağlık. Çok fazla çeviri yapamadık. Bu saate kadar da beklediniz. Teşekkür ediyorum o yüzden. 4 dilde yapmıştık pankartımızı. Son tarafı Kürtçeydi. Onu gösteremedik ama umarım bir sonraki fotoğrafta onu da yakalayacaksınız. Katılımın için çok teşekkürler. Sabrın için de
Allah
öyle.
vah. Gerçekten ben de teşekkür ediyorum valla. Harikasın.
Yok, ben anlıyorum, konuşamıyorum. Öyle bir mesele var.
Vahap müsaaden varsa çeviri yapayım.
Emeğinize sağlık.
Wahab is connecting us from Diyarbakır, from the Mesopotamian ecology movement from Kurdistan. And he says, I thanked him for like being so patient without speaking much English, to have the patience to stay all the way through. He said, I also thank you, but you know my problem. I understand well, but I just cannot speak. Varlığın bile katkı sayılır bence Heval Vahap. Çok teşekkürler.
Var olun, emeğinize sağlık tekrardan. Bütün arkadaşlar sağ olsun.
Thank you all
Serkefte.
for thank you all for having us here and until the victory.
Oh.
Biz de size çok teşekkür ediyoruz arkadaşlar. Thank you for all joining us tonight. Also on Zoom, different parts of Greece, different parts of Turkey, one part of Lesbos. Yes. I think we have to go slowly now. Take good care of yourselves.
Okay,
Hope
good
to see you
night.
soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. You are the host, I think, Ozan. You can close the Zoom.
Oh, I am.
We will start leaving. Okay.
Okay.
Good night.
Have a
Okay.
great
Bye-bye.
afternoon.
Good night.
Bye-bye.